Well, you can't help but wonder if opposing batters' eyes light up when they see the Tribe on the schedule. Now, when it comes to the most popular item at the ballpark, of course, that would be the hot dogs. They're expecting to go through about 4,000 during tomorrow's opening day doubleheader. They will lose 3 games in the upcoming season, and on top of that, they're losing about 4 hours of practice each week, down from 20 to 16. Joey Logano, Vanilla Ice. Seems like both men on a never-ending quest to resurrect their careers. One would succeed today. Well, I'll tell you one thing about the folks here in the outfield. They've got hope. Not only that they're going to catch a home run ball, but they're also hopeful for a great Tigers season. The program isn't designed to just test them as individuals. It's also designed to test them as a team. Before Tom Brady's able to get his hands on a football at this year's Super Bowl, it's got to go through her.
The best part is this right here.
For over 40 years, Jane Helser's had her hand at making each and every football used during the Super Bowl. Not bad for a girl who's not even sure if Tom Brady's playing in the big game. Who are the quarterbacks in this year's Super Bowl? The 2 starting quarterbacks, do you know?
Alex Smith. No, that one.
She may not know her football, but she knows her footballs. The same can be said for every employee at the Wilson Football Factory in Ada, Ohio. For 71 years, it's been the official home of the balls used by the NFL.
And a lot of people watch football, they watch the players, they watch this and that. But I think people here actually always keep their eye on the ball.
It's roughly a 25-step process to make the actual ball. Cowhide, not pigskin, is used. And yes, they're all U.S. raised. From there, each ball is stamped. Jane then sews the sides together. The next step is flipping the football inside out. They say it's the hardest step of them all, but I think I can prove them differently. I'm getting it! I'm getting it! I'm getting it. Am I getting it? No. Then they add what they call bladder to the ball.
Lace it shut, mold it, and it's ready to go.
They do this 4,000 times a day. And just like Jane says, they do it with pride.
I try to make all my work as good as I can.
Now that sounds like the stuff of a Super Bowl champion. Mike Lacett, T-Sports.
Now, the WTOL 11 BCSN T-Sports Report.
Money, it talks. That's the reason a lot of people think Joe Mowgli is where he is today, the former Fortune 500 CEO, now the head coach at CCU. Prior to his hiring, he spent years in boardrooms, light years from Rockets head coach Matt Campbell, a man who never strayed too far from the practice fields. Gotta love football. It brings 2 people from different backgrounds together. Rockets hosting CCU of the FCS, both teams 2-1 early on. We weren't sure if CCU was in the FCS, though. Jeremy Height rushing it in for the 1-yard touchdown. How about this? Toledo down early. Later in the first, they come on back. Terrence Owens to Cordell Scott. Rockets only, though, up 3 at the half. Second half, Rockets now down 4. Owens this time taking it himself for 8 yards. UT up by 3. Then later, the Rocket defense picking up Aramis Hillary. Gets taken down, as does CCU, 38-28 the final. Looking back on that loss to Toledo a week ago, Dave Clawson didn't have many regrets. He said his team was prepared, and he said they had the right attitude. The only thing that didn't work out was the execution, something that he hoped came together against Virginia Tech. Falcons down in Blacksburg, a place I'm sure they'll never want to come back to after today. Scoreless first quarter, second quarter, points couldn't stop piling in for the Hokies. Starting now. Logan Thomas, J.C. Coleman, 10-yard touchdown, 7-0 Virginia Tech. Hokies smarting from last week's loss to Pittsburgh, and they took it all out on BG. Later in the second, Thomas to Dyrell Roberts. That's a 42-yard touchdown, 21-0 Hokies at the break. Second half, Matt Schiltz trying to get something going. Instead, he throws it right to Antoine Exum. Matty just 9 of 25 for 87 yards. BG held scoreless, 37-0 the final. The Buckeyes, they're 3-0, but talking to Urban Meyer, it makes it sound like they're 0-3. Among coach's many concerns, the team's defense, which gave up 28 points last week to California. 16th ranked Ohio State taking on UAB today. In theory, this should have been the type of game where OSU was accused of running up the score. That did not happen. UAB ready to play first quarter. They block the punt. Nick Adams takes it in. It's 6-0 UAB. Blazers up 12-7 in the second quarter. That's when Braxton Miller began doing his thing. The spin move and then the dive into the end zone. 12-yard score. OSU taking its first lead of the game. Miller 2 rushing TDs. Also threw for 143 yards. Less than a minute later, OSU defense coming up big. They pick up the fumble there, and then they would cash in. Zach Boren gonna punch it in. OSU takes it 29-15, but Coach singing that same tune.
It's glaring obvious.
Buckeyes better be ready. They take on number 21 Michigan State. All right, more from the Big Ten. 18th ranked Michigan, 11th ranked Notre Dame. Should have been a good one. Instead, it turned out to be pretty darn sloppy. Denard Robinson in particular, a night to forget. Second quarter, he gets picked off. It would lead to absolutely nothing for the Irish, but that's okay because a few minutes later, Robinson again throwing, and once again going to get picked off. Robinson had 4 interceptions. Both teams combined for 7 in the game. Michigan would lose this one 13-6. President Obama not going to earn any votes from Tiger fans doing things like this. The president announced his predictions for this year's World Series matchup. He is his own White Sox playing for the championship against Washington. Tigers 2 back of the President's Sox for first place in the division going into today's game with Minnesota. Temperatures cold, but the Tigers offense on fire. Austin Jackson wasting no time. First at-bat of the game for Detroit, and he cranks it out of there. Number 15 for Austin, 1-0 Detroit, and then Miguel Cabrera gets in on the act. Number 42 on this season. Can you say MVP? Tigers just dominate 8-0 the final. That moves them a bit closer, but the Sox in action as we speak. Finally, I can't say it was the perfect day for crew racing, but sometimes in life you have to make do. Crew teams from 6 states came out to the 27th Frogtown Regatta along the Maumee River. The 3-mile race featured over 1,100 competitors, some in high school, some well beyond high school. Many were looking to take it all, others were there just to have a good time.
Oh, this is by far.
Races began at 8:30 this morning. The event wrapped up late in the afternoon. That's T-Sports. I'm Mike Lacett. Do not adjust your television set. We are taking a journey back in time.
We are a barnstorming team. Baseball by the rules of 1860, so it would have been Civil War baseball.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
For 21 years, the Black Swamp Frogs from Sylvania have partied like it's 1869, giving the nation a history lesson in America's pastime.
No gloves for the players.
One bounce, the battery's out. Striker to the line. No steroids or anything.
Well, you got to give the Frogs a couple of extra runs for attention to detail. Not only did they not use gloves, they also used special bats. The tops are flatter and the sides are slimmer.
They were lathed or carved out of wood, out of axe handles and stuff. That was the way that they used to play.
Proving as close to an authentic experience as possible. The old-style pencils, the ringing of the bell when a run scores. And, of course, the Civil War-era mascots.
Nice hit, buddy.
Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
If you look at old-time baseball, it's more of a gentleman's sport. It's more about fun and exercise than it is about the competition of today's game.
It's a great way to keep guys like me still playing baseball, promoting the game the way it used to be played, the way it was originally played.
For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Mike Lacett, T-Sports.